And so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I used to break into houses to smoke weed. That was the high school days though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about too. I mean, I didn't go break into houses as an adult. You know, you get arrested for that shit. Damn it.
Oh hey, yeah, Chad, I saw you and Anti-Bullshit Man having a conversation, but I've watched the videos, both your videos and Anti-Bullshit's videos, and I still don't understand what the fuck you guys were talking about. It's just like all the information, it gets totally lost in translation on the internet, I guess.
I don't know if Chad's listening or not, but whatever. It was kind
What
of
are
a
you
just
having a hard time understanding?
just it's a long subject, I guess. They were just taking a long way around an argument about how do you define a terrorist. So I mean, it does get kind of complicated. I mean, is somebody a terrorist because of their politics? Are they a terrorist because of their religion? What's motivating them? How should they be labeled? So I mean, it's got a lot of angles to it.
Well, I thought it was mostly about the correct translation of the Quran. That's mostly what I was thinking about it.
Not much of a different video.
Yeah, it wasn't about the translation of the Quran. It was just anti-bullshit man was pretty much throwing anybody who lived in the Middle East under the term of terrorist, and I was just trying to explain to him that you can't do that. Well, you can do that, but it's not really like logical to do that.
Well, that's a little going too far. I mean, his argument is that the Islamic religion is inherently terroristic. It's a religion of hate, not a religion of peace, and that so it's there's no such thing as a moderate Muslim in a way. Like all Muslims have to take responsibility for the true interpretation of the Quran, which is kill everybody. Which is unfair, in my opinion, just because if you take the New Testament, I mean the Old Testament, literally, it basically says kill everybody.
Right, like I saw Anti-Bullshit Man's video, and what I gathered out of it was that it wasn't criticizing Muslims so much as it was criticizing the ideas that Muslim culture encourages and reinforces. That's what it seemed like to me.
I don't even think he got to the culture thing, so I guess whatever. To me, it was more about just this. This is what the religion says, and this is what the Bible says, and so if you're going to be true to this, I mean, to me, and then they're getting to this thing about what part of Sharia law is. I mean, when you get into all the convolutions of, what it's almost like arguing what's a real. Oh, are Catholics real Christians? Obviously, they're doing some idol worshiping, aren't they? I mean, they've done the engraven image thing, haven't they? So, haven't they violated the commandments? And I mean, you can make all kinds of these arguments forever. And I don't think it's terribly relevant. Um, you got to just take people for what they do as individuals, how far they take their nutty religion. But I mean, all religion is stupid. But I mean, not all religious people are violent, crazy, murdering nuttards.
They would be if you try to take their religion away from them.
Well, they might sanction it, but I don't know if they'd actually do it. You know what I'm saying? Big difference if you had to actually go there and do the actual stabbing and such. So I don't know if they actually had to pay a
You
price
know
for
what's
their war.
interesting is that the commies banned religion, and then the rebellion against the communism was formed in the churches. Like, the people would have union meetings and rally meetings at the Christian churches. So them banning religion actually inspired them to use it as a form of rebellion.
Do you really think that that really had much to do with the fall of the Soviet Union? I mean, I don't think it had anything to do with
Yeah, it really did.
Oh, come on. It's all Gorbachev. You put the whole thing on Gorbachev's plate. If Gorbachev didn't exist, if the Soviet Union ran into a big problem, every old fart they put in charge croaked. And so they had to find somebody who might live longer than 6 months, because they went through like 4 premiers in 3 years. And so they said, okay, well, let Gorbachev do it. He's all horny for it. He talks a good talk. But they had no idea he was going to do this glass-nose crap and this kiss up to the West thing. And you know, he was a good socialist, you know. And he turned into a well, we'll do the political freedom thing. And you know, he just started giving the store away. And then they had the stupid Afghan war, which bankrupted them finally for good. And that was the end of it. But I mean, if it wasn't for Gorbachev, if they would have had another hardliner as another Brezhnev, there wouldn't have been any fucking problem.
What I'm saying is that by making it illegal, it made them want to use it as a
But the point is that it was it was the unlegalization that made the whole. That's the whole point. Is all the liberal rights that Gorbachev was endorsing created all the talk internally where people started saying, well, yeah, Gorbachev, tear down that wall. I mean, people in the Soviet Union started mimicking Ronald Reagan. I mean, so you started letting the people get the propaganda in their head. Oh, yeah, we can have this and we can have that. And look what the West, they got all shiny shoes. We could have shiny shoes. And so they sold them a big pile of shit. And then what happened, 20 years later, 26 families own 98% of the Soviet Union. Brilliant.
Oh, hey, Gary, I got a question. Dysmorphic Disorder wants to know what you think of Nuclear Knights communism.
Well, I think communism is a dumbass word. I think as soon as you use the word, you fail.
It's like capitalism.
Come up with a new word. Yeah, I mean, don't call it communism. It's a dead word. You can't use that word. It's got Stalin and Lenin, all kinds of dirty shit all over it. Fuck that word. And I'm not even for communism. I'm not for that much control. I'm for control on the rules of the game. You know what I mean? Like set the fences for the home run and set the length of the spikes and set, basic rules of how you play the game, and then let the players play the game. I mean, this communism thing gets a little bit too much control. Okay? I mean, all I want is to get rid of the excesses. I don't want people eating dog food, and I don't want people floating around on yachts. So, in between there, everything else is sort of open to individual choice.
You should shut up.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck off. Twat and twatette. Now we'll put it's not even a cap on income, it's a cap on ownership. How much can you own, control? I guess there's a lot of hidden wealth that isn't income. It's only income because they can use it as leverage to create income.
Well, Gary, I agree that the wealth disparity is a huge problem, and this is the only thing. I don't really think that the game analogy is a good one because, I mean, sports games, the rules have been so diverse over our history, and they eventually coalesced and condensed naturally. Like, there wasn't a government that created the rules of baseball. They emerged.
They didn't emerge. They didn't emerge from the players. They emerged from a system of owners and other people who decide what's good for the game. But it could just as well have been a democracy.
Yeah, but those people at the top
it could
emerged.
Have been, well,